So, so did we ever have sex? And did we ever smoke the smoke?
Is that a real question or just a
The realest question as you can get, man.
wow, damn. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I did.
I did it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, yeah, I did it.
When?
When? Ooh, this was my first year in uni.
Uni. So
yeah.
uni was the first time you smoked?
Yeah. So uni was
No way.
yeah,
First time
uni was the first time I smoked, kissed a girl.
What?
Yeah, bro.
No way. So uni was your coming out party, yeah?
Oh, bro, trust me. Imagine
what was that like?
I was so happy, honestly. I was so happy just to go away. I remember when my parents dropped me off, and they went, I was like, right, what is next? What do I do?
They had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah. It's like, what do I do? Like, I went to uni with that excitement. Like, I can't wait to meet other people and socialize. You get me? Yeah.
Wait, sorry. So you hadn't kissed, hadn't smoked, hadn't done anything. Had you had like a girlfriend or relationship or anything like that?
Never, nothing like that. No girlfriend.
Wow.
Nothing, yeah. Nothing.
Imagine wow.
All your friends going out with Becky this week. that week, a man's just out here.
That's hilarious.
But because I remember in year 9, I remember this girl said to me once, like, no, actually, it might have been year 8. I remember she said to me, "Oh, Phil, when I get to year 10, like, I'm gonna go out with you." I was like, "Ooh, okay."
Hey, Stacy.
I was like, yeah, "I'm gonna go out with you," and I was like, "Okay, well, interesting. Yeah, we'll see what my dad will say about that." You gotta speak to my dad first, you know.
Your dad's in the relationship with you.
Yeah? Trust me. Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask you, like, just think back to like who you were then. Like, were you aware of that you hadn't done all these things, and like, did you want to do those things as well? And like, did you come into uni intending to do things? Like, this is you back then.
Yeah.
Like, did you come to uni on a mission?
Okay, so I came to uni, but not on that kind of mission, because I was very like oblivious to that sort of life, or that sort of so I didn't yeah, exactly. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know where to get it.
That's amazing, you know, that's really good.
Yeah. So I came to uni. I was excited to meet different people, especially Black people, definitely.
Yeah.
And socialize. But in terms of like going crazy and doing all those kind of things, like I was very like I didn't know what that
like you was content with like how your life was. Yeah,
I was content with with how my life was, because I'd never done that before, so I didn't know what it felt like, what it tasted like. Like, yeah, literally had no idea. Yeah, so yeah, which is interesting, because I didn't really thought about that like that until you've asked.
Had you been drunk before as well? Nah, probs not.
No.
Had you drank before?
No, never tasted alcohol in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mate,
never
tell me first time drinking, first time smoking. You can keep the sex to yourself, it's okay.
Yeah. First time drinking. Yeah, I remember.
We can talk about maybe the first time getting a girl at least.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. First time drinking. Okay, so in uni, I lived in a student accommodation. So I lived with a bunch of boys, like a bunch of guys, and obviously they drink and stuff like that. And like I said, going into uni, my main goal was to socialize. Apart from education, obviously, my main goal was to socialize and get to know other people, new people. So I remember they were calm guys in terms of like going out. They weren't going out every night, so they were calm. Like once in a while, if like this, I mean, we went to uni together. LRV Wednesday night, Friday night. Then yeah, sure enough. For people that don't know, LRV was our student our student club.
There's really nothing to know, if I'm being honest.
The student club where we go to party. So yeah, so the first time I got drunk, so we were going out and we were pre-drinking together, and so they're like, this is when I was excited. I was like, oh, my first time drinking. I was excited. I was looking forward to it, and then like they kept giving me drinks. Like I was drinking because I didn't know any better. I was drinking, mixing all my drinks. I was drinking wine at one point, beer, mixing the spirits, all of that. And I remember before going out, I was so drunk. I was like, is this what being drunk felt like? Like before we actually got into the club, I was gone. I was waved. So I was trying to be cool. Like I was trying to be cool. Like, let me be cool. Like I was slurring my words, waving from here to here. But I was like, let me be cool. So we went out, and then obviously I think I drank a bit. I kept drinking a bit more. And I remember that night as well. I was doing madness. I was chatting to different girls and stuff like that. And then and then the night ended, went home, and then the next morning definitely felt that I threw up literally all over the place. Threw up all over the place. I was sick. Basically the
lightweight.
Lightweight, obviously, because I never drank before, never touched before. I really felt that. I felt that alcohol still.
Wow. Okay, so that was first time drinking. How about like how did smoking like?
To be fair, smoking, I didn't really smoke like that, to be fair. I can't recall my first specific time where I started smoking.
It wasn't that deep.
Yeah, so smoking wasn't that deep kind of thing. But in terms of like getting a girl or talking to a girl and stuff like that, that one was definitely interesting.
I bet it was.
So I don't know where to start from. Like, do you want me to like?
No, I just kind of I'm intrigued of this idea of like this kid, that like, you're not a kid at 19, but like this guy that had lived this life, like not doing these things, and now he's in this world where there's all these different kind of apples he can now touch and grab, and like by apples I don't mean girls, I just mean like drinking, smoking, all these activities you could indulge in. This new world. I'm just kind of fascinated by like how your eyes were, like how they just what that was like, so I'm more interested in like the first time, maybe there was something between you and a girl, maybe on a night out, first time you was like texting a girl on a night out, or first time you was texted a girl, that kind of thing. Like, just more, your exposure to that world is all I'm mostly interested in.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then I'll say like first time I was like texting a girl, like a girl like that anyway, like properly anyway, was again, because I'd never done that before. I literally had no idea like what to do, what to say, kind of thing. So I felt like at that time I was very oblivious to like the process and stuff like that. So like
it's one of the ones where you kind of found yourself in the middle of something.
You find yourself in the middle of doing it.
It's not like you plan to.
Exactly. And with what I touched on as well, with like in terms of I knew what my boundaries were, because that was what that's how I was brought up. Like I knew which line I couldn't cross and stuff like that. So for me, it was texting a girl was like, it was just like getting to know them, or a form of socializing kind of thing. But I remember I was not to like put anyone out there or anything. I remember I was texting this one girl, and so she kept inviting me over to her place. And
Nice.
like again, I had no idea of that sort of thing. Like
Mm.
I had no idea what that meant,
Mm.
and stuff like that. So I kept saying, yeah, sure, I'll come, and stuff like that. And she was from Ghana as well. So again, like I said, my goal was to meet people of the same background, same culture. So I was happy. I was like, yes, finally a Ghanaian person I can talk to, I can relate to, kind of thing. And yeah, like the times that she would invite me over, she'd be like, oh, I'm making this Ghanaian food. Would you like to come over and try some?
Drink shit, or yeah.
Yeah, fufu and all of that. And I was like, yeah, because I remember one time she invited me over. I was like, because her motive was different from what I from mine, and I had no idea of that. So I remember one time she invited me over, and I said, oh, I can't because I'm going to the library to do work, and she was like, yeah, that's fine. And another time when she was doing it, she's like, yeah, come over, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come down. We went over. I'm sharing this so that it makes sense to what, in terms of what I'm saying, I was very oblivious to what.
Yeah. No.
So I went over.
I'm definitely with you so far.
Yeah, so I went over. There's this food here, Ghanaian food. I ate it nicely. Watch a Ghanaian movie. She's like, "You want to watch a movie?" I was like, "Yeah, watch the Ghanaian movie together." And then me being a good boy, obviously, I was sat here. She was sat there. It's like minding my business. And then yeah, and then she started making the moves like that. She was getting closer to me.
Mad.
And then she would, yeah, so it's basically she was trying it, kind of thing.
Wow.
And like I said, I had no clue
Wow.
why, like that was the reason why she was inviting me, kind of thing. We had been talking for a while. I'd say about like about like 2-3 weeks. And for me, I was excited getting to know someone, especially from Ghana, like I said. And she was a good looking girl as well. So I was happy. I was like, yeah, I found a girl, I found a good looking
But
girl.
were you there for like friends, or like in your mind, did you think that there might be something, romantic, or like in the future, not necessarily that day, but like
yeah. So in my mind, I was like, you know what, I could see myself with this girl.
Oh yeah, cool.
I can see as my girlfriend, like
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah. Obviously it comes with you're getting to know someone and stuff like that. If you like them, you can see yourself with them. But I think obviously with her, she had one goal, which was to have sex and stuff like that. So yeah, again, like I said, it was new to me. I literally did not know what to do. It got to a point where we were watching a movie and she asked, oh, can I kiss you, and stuff like that. And I think for her, like, she was waiting for me to do all of those things, but I was doing it. So she's the one that was initiating, like, you get me. And then they just kissed, and then
I was like,
my first kiss as well. That's mad.
Wow.
Yeah, that was actually my first kiss. And
wow.
Yeah. So again, like I said, it was just never done all of those things before, never know the process of how to get to that and all of that. So I was completely clueless to all of that. Yeah, so I was, it's crazy.
Wow, that's precious.
Yeah.
My girl was doing bits still.
She was doing bits, and long story short, I found out that she was doing that with other guys as well. So I had my first kiss, my first heartbreak, and everything. It was mad. It was mad.
Do you know what? Let me start with myself. So when I went to uni,
yeah,
probably the only reason why I joined a church was because my sister told me to.
Right.
If my sister hadn't told me to, like, finding a church wouldn't be the first thing on my list. I would have probably found a church maybe in third year as well. Like, do you get me? You know, a child brought up in a Christian family, like you know what to do. Like, I would probably be similar to you. Like, I would probably like read my Bible every now and again, you know, like when it popped into my head, because it's how you've been brought up. Like, it's it's not a thing of, it's actually what you want to do, I guess, you know, like you don't care that much about it. And I think a reason for that is because you probably didn't have a relationship with God, or one that was sustaining or like deep, you know.
Yeah, yeah. As much as you come from a Christian background, a Christian home as well, like with what you said, your parents or your family's faith does not save you. You know that God is there, you know that Christ is there, but it's like it has to be a self-realization. Do you get me? And it has
It
to
has
come.
to be deep. It has
Yeah,
to be deeper than that.
yeah. Like I knew what I had to do. Like thinking now, I knew what I needed to do. Like go to church and even for me, I feel like even if I had found a church, I would have been like calm. I'm good. Do you get me? Because again, I've ticked the box. I found a church. I pray. I read a word. I've ticked those boxes as a Christian. But again, that would have not been enough. To get me? It's
There are
because
so many people like that.
yeah, and
There
it's
are
like
so many people like that in church.
and it's like you have to come to that realization, like that is not enough. Like I need to have a personal relationship with him, and I feel like that's something that is not it's not known, you know, like that's something
Mm,
that is not like it's not common knowledge, like to especially
mm.
Christians, because people genuinely think like church, read my word, pray, that's enough, you know, as long as I believe, that's enough.
Bro, it's like church, read my word, pray, and then next minute I'm in a bed with
mm,
this girl, that girl, this man, that man. It's a
yeah.
madness. Church can be a scary place, even, you know,
Mm,
because it's a thing of like church is a place where you just learn like new skills, and it's
right.
where you learn like new morals, you know,
Yeah.
but you don't actually learn about who Christ is and
No,
like
no.
wanting to know him and like wanting to
Mm,
know the gospel.
gospel,
It's
yeah.
it's almost a thing of right. So Christ died for you. Your sins are forgiven.
Mm,
You're a child of God, and
God.
that's the gospel done.
Yeah, yeah,
Like there's nothing else to know.
yeah.
Like gospel done and dusted. Let's move on to like okay now, can you go to the club or not? You
Right,
know, let's
right.
start talking about all these like hip things.
Mm,
Whereas the hip things are actually less important. It's more about the gospel. You know,
yeah.
John 3:16, for God so loved the world that this and that happened.
Mm,
Do you actually know what that means? Because if you did, you would live different.
yeah, yeah,
You would live totally different.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's very true. That's very true. Because, like I said, even if I'd found the church, like I was going to Christian Union for at least a good year, in my first year, every day, every activity, every evangelism or whatever, as much as I'll be hiding in the background, I was still there, and I felt like I was doing my duty as a Christian. Do you get me?
Mm,
I was good. I was good. I wasn't out there doing bad things, but I was good.
no.
Do you get me? But
Mm.
it was that like to have that realization that that is not enough. You know, I
Mm,
need to have a personal relation. I need to know Christ for myself.
mm, mm,
Yeah, it's what changed. It's what changed
mm,
things. Yeah.
mm. So, as part of your testimony, you mentioned that in third year, that's when I think you said that's when you met me, and then we started doing like things for God, and you met other people as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, can you just talk about it? Maybe talk about the influence of like having people that are maybe on a higher level than you are,
Mm,
surrounding yourself with those kind of people, and also talk about maybe being involved with um things like Bible studies. And
mm,
I think at some points we were doing like outreaches, like going to visit people. And I
yeah.
think
Yeah.
we like we're I'm sure at some point we were like handing out bottles to people like coming out from
Yeah.
nightclubs, like we
Yeah.
was evangelism, like we was doing so many things.
Yeah. Remember,
Um
well, we definitely used to go to people's houses
go to
and
people's
like check
houses.
up on them. Oh, those good
Yeah.
times. Yeah, I remember that.
So many good times,
I
man.
remember that. I remember.
Yeah, talk about like um yeah, talk about those influences and how that helps you. You can start off with like the people that you met, and then also you getting involved, how that helped you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so like I said, right from foundation year to third year, I I thought I was good, you know. I didn't I wasn't I was doing what I needed to do. I was doing my duties. I was fine. But the third year, when I met um different people, when I met you within the church, for example, like you were serving, you were like an usher. I'd see you at the front of the church, like doing praying, and Ife doing drums, and I was like, I was actually intrigued. I was like people like myself who are confidently serving within the church. I was very motivated by that. I was like, right, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do, kind of thing. And yeah, so just like meeting all you guys, that impacted me in a good way. And it so because of say for example prayer on Mondays, like I shared in my testimony anyway, now that was when I actually came to that realization that, right, I need to have a relationship with God. And that was when I set that goal, that target for myself, to know Christ truly, and to let him use me, kind of way. So how that influenced me was, yeah, like I said, it made me want to know Christ for myself, not what I've been taught by my parents or what I've heard from people, kind of thing. And it also brought that sense of confidence, I think, in me, because before that, I didn't think that I was that confident, in terms of
as a person, maybe.
yeah, as a person and also as a Christian. Like I know we spoke about being embarrassed and being ashamed, kind of thing. So I think it brought that sense of confidence within me as a Christian and as a person as well, because I was put in positions where, say for example, I had to say Bible studies, I had to speak out. I was learning more things. I was asking questions, and also we were doing things like leading prayers, you know. So as a leader, you know, you there's things that you have to prepare for. Do you get me? Like, say for example, when you're leading Bible studies, you have to go and prepare yourself before you come and bring what you have. So all those things was
Especially with some of the people that were coming as well.
exactly. These were people who
You had to come correct.
Yeah, you have to come correct, because these were people who were, I think at that time, my perception was they were really strong in their faith. You know, they were praying. They were. You couldn't just come and do anything. You know, you had to make sure that you prepared yourself in terms of the word, reading, praying, and all of that. And also I'll talk about like the benefits and the negatives of that as well. Well, I'm talking about the benefits now as well, but you know, you had to come. So that meant that me actually preparing myself, you know, praying, reading,
like looking into things for yourself.
Yeah, looking into things. Like before that, when I used to read the Bible, I just read it and then amen, that's it. But now I was actually researching, looking at different videos, different perspectives, and bringing them together. Do you get me? So I was through that, I was able to develop my self-confidence in terms of speaking in front of brothers and sisters like myself, and
also in what you believed.
Yes, exactly. So also speaking out of what I believe, and it felt good, man. It felt nice. Again, it was different from just doing my daily duties, and then that was it. But I felt a change, that I needed to live my life in a different way. Do you get me? Again, like, because I know I said, as much as the good influence as well, not exactly bad or negative in the sense of like bad, but I felt like it also felt like, and for me anyway, it felt like, how do I say this without being like
No, just say it, fam. Say it, fam.
Yeah.
And then you can explain it after.
Yeah, because it felt like,
so what are you talking about here?
In terms of, as much as we had those people around us who were very serious and who were very
okay, go on.
It also felt like, it felt a bit like a race, if that makes sense.
Okay, carry on.
In terms of, maybe I'm using the wrong word, but I'll explain and then I'll come back to it and see if, but it felt like there were certain standards that you had to meet to be able to be
Part of the group.
Yes, to be part of the group or to be taken in anyway. Like, do you get me? Like,
I get you. I'm with you.
There's like there's certain things that you had to be doing or you had to become. For example, maybe I'm saying too much, but well. But I remember one of the prayer groups where
well.
well, I mean, we have to be real with it.
We have to be real, fam.
I remember one of the prayer groups where when we were praying and then the mention about speaking in tongues, you get me? And it was like that was being forced. If you weren't able to speak in tongues, like you were seen as you hadn't reached your level yet, or you weren't trying hard to reach your level yet. Do you get me? As much as it was tight and we were consistent with our prayers and stuff like that, but it also felt like there was
pressure.
Yeah, pressure. Yeah,
expectations.
Like pressure and expectation was a bit hard because I felt like if you weren't there, if you weren't doing this, then maybe you're not trying hard enough. If that makes sense.
No, that's very true. That's very true.
And yeah,
that's very true.
And as well as maybe also the fact that you would hear that, oh, this person doesn't get along with this person. And when we were doing the word and we were talking about unity and stuff like that, and then like, it was a bit conflicting. It was a bit like mixed messages. And for me, when I was hearing stuff like that, not that it affected me, but I felt like these people that we're really looking up to or we're looking at, or we're giving all these praise and this to, like, yeah, fair enough. It's human, it's human nature, but it was like, just needed to be careful in terms of like, are they being true or are they being real, kind of thing, if that makes sense.
I mean, since you're mentioning it, like also like there's things like maybe you guys, like people believe some, like have different beliefs like within Christianity, or like have different opinions on things. And it's like it could be a thing of this side versus that side, or like you all look down upon for not maybe having the same opinion as these guys.
Right. And again, like you said, they took it very seriously and very personal, which is fine. It's their relationship, but I felt like it might have also had an effect on the group as well. Do you get me?
Wow, I wasn't expecting you to go there. What happened to nice feel for?
Yeah, no, because I'm just thinking about it now.
No, that's a great point. That's something I've never really thought about, if I'm being honest. Like the bad side of our group, but those things definitely were there. Like it definitely wasn't all fairy tales.
Yeah.
But I do think, like you rightfully said, that's just the thing of we're humans, aren't we?
Yeah,
and that's also a thing of don't put humans on that much of a pedestal.
Yeah.
Like Christ is our example.
Exactly.
Not these fallible humans.
Yeah.
As great as they may be.
Yeah. And I think it's something that I had to learn as well. I had to learn about myself and about your journey with Christ and your journey with Christianity as well. Yeah.
So talking about fallible human beings. Let's talk about Kellen. Let's talk about Kel and Phil. Yeah, so you were probably the only person that knew, like, that knew me, during the youth Bible study sessions, the men's Bible studies, the prayer meeting groups, the church, and the outreaches and stuff like that. But also, you were there with me in the clubs, the 4 a.m. lurking around, lurking around the nightclubs. Trying to catch the last girl you can see.
Madness.
He was with me. I mean, I'm not sure we have smoked weed together, but like you was there with me, like getting high together. You was there when I was getting blackout drunk anyway.
Yeah.
You was there when man was hooking up with like different gal devs, all that stuff in different cities and all that madness. My question is basically like what the hell is going on there? Like, how could it be that we did so much good together, but also so much bad?
Yeah. The wild ones were probably after uni, wasn't it? When we'd obviously graduated, we'd gone out in the world. Yeah, no, it's I don't know, like what. Now, I know you asked me, but I'm throwing it back to you. Like, what are your thoughts on that? But
I genuinely have no idea.
yeah, but one thing that isn't like I remember, or one thing in my head is the fact that like even like for example for you anyway, like I remember times where like maybe say you'd be chatting to a girl, or like you'd be chatting to this girl that you really like, where perhaps things have gone
Too far.
wild, yeah, or wild or too far. But like one thing that I really for you that I really I admire, I don't know if I can say admire, but one thing about you is the fact that even through the wild times, like you still, how do you still manage to fit Christianity or like talking about God in that? I don't know if, I don't know if it's something that
That's actually true, you
I don't
know.
know if it's something that you've noticed. Like you can be talking to this girl and maybe
Thinking about it now, yeah.
yeah, like you can talk to this girl, you have this intention of maybe, I don't know, going far, and let's say this girl is on it as well, but and then you be telling me about how you took, like you did this, that, and then you mentioned, but we spoke about God, and you told me this. I was like, how do you do that? Like even in your wild and your bad times, like you still want to put Christianity in that. And for me, I felt like that was like like that's a huge thing to get me. It shows that like it shows that Christ is in you even through those bad times, or even through those wild times. Like even when you're out there in the world, like as much as you know what to do and you know what not to do, there's still that element of Christ that comes out of you. Do you get me? And I always used to find that amazing. Like, yeah, I always used to find that amazing. I don't know if it relates, but yeah, that's one thing that popped in my head. But no, I think in general, I don't know. I think for me, it's just the fact that I felt better because I wasn't doing it on my own, you know.
Yeah.
Someone who's also a believer who was also doing it. So it was that sense of like accountability, I suppose. Like if I'm going to hell, you're coming with me, kind of thing.
No.
You get me? So it's like I had that sense like of you know what, I can relax. Yeah, it's not just me. You know what, Kel is doing it as well. So like I use that I would use that as an excuse to sort of carry on doing it, if that makes sense. That's what I can think of.
Do you know how you mentioned like I'll be happy to talk to people about God, maybe like whilst clubbing and stuff like that. It's a thing of, could also be a thing of like you play that role just to get into their pants as well, like kind of thing, because it's like you make them feel like, yeah, no, I'm not just trying to get into your pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a good Christian guy too.
Yeah.
So it can be used in a sinister way like that. And I think, the main example of that, to be fair, the girl in Birmingham, I kind of did, like, she was the one, like, I think I probably brought up God, and I was like, well, I'm not sure who brought up God, but somehow God was brought up.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a thing of like, she was trying to assess me in terms of like how much I believed in God. Whilst we were both drunk, she was like whining on me like a madness, like kissing me like it was no man's business.
Yeah, right.
But she was still trying to tell me that she was a great Christian, and like and I wasn't, or she was like doubting that I was a Christian as well. I was honest, and I could always be honest. But it's a thing of sometimes these people or these girls out here just want the illusion of a good guy as well. And
right.
I guess I have a lot of real life experiences of being a good guy, and you can tap into that real quick just to get whatever you want, I guess.
Right, yeah.
Which isn't great.
No.
Do you think that we had a good, like, that we were good for each other in terms of like our faith?
In terms of our faith?
In terms of our faith and like building up our faith, do you think our friendship was good overall? Obviously, like bearing in mind what we've just discussed.
What we talked about, yeah. Yeah, I think I definitely think, yeah, we're good for each other in terms of our faith, because like I said, the influence that you had on me, when I look at it like on a scale, I felt like that positive influence was overweighing that negative influence for me. So yeah, I felt like in that sense we were good for each other, because like I said, it was when I met you and when I met the group of people that we were hanging around with is when it sparked that desire to actually pursue God for myself, and also brought about that self-confidence and that like not being ashamed in Christ as well. I think that was very important for me, because like I said, I've seen you guys like serving, and I've seen how you guys were, like for example, like what we spoke about, even the fact that even when we're out there doing all those stuff, you still bring God up. You know, nobody would have I wouldn't be able to do that. Do you get me? Because it would just ruin everything that I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
The fact that you still brought that up, or like, I really admire that. And for me, it shows your confidence in Christ, that you're not ashamed of Christ, you know, regardless of where you might find yourself. So yeah, I'll definitely say it was. I'll definitely say good for each other, and also after uni, because even what we were doing in uni, it didn't end there, did it? Because after uni, we were still doing Bible studies. There's so many things that we've done together, which has been a good impact.
Even during COVID, we tried to do something as well.
During COVID, you know, we did a lot, and I feel like it's been a positive relationship with us, so meeting each other and having that friendship. Yeah,
I would definitely agree. Like, definitely, I wouldn't even hesitate. Yeah, I think we've definitely done more good than bad together. Yeah. And like all these things that we've mentioned, like we've done a lot of things, but compared to what we've actually done for God, or like in a positive light, I don't think they really compare.
Nah.
Fam, I think that concludes all my questions, you know?
Madness.
Thanks a lot for coming through, man. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being so honest. Thanks for being so kind. I appreciate it greatly, fam.
No worries.
And I appreciate you greatly as well.